rather lets go of the little differences that we have and finds a point of reconciliation with others. Love creates human understanding, without which we become really divided against ourselves and unconsciously become filled with criticism, condemnation, and false judgment. No one can be happy or enjoy the greatest fulfillment in life until he has come to see that most people do try to do the best they can. And when we are able to reach out through all unkindness, we meet the divine center which is forever established within every person. So let us affirm together. I am letting go of patterns of judgment and choosing compassion and understanding. Thank you. Very good. And let's welcome Reverend Dr. Kathleen Johnson.
So back in the 11th century, there was a great, actually one of the greatest Indian scholars in the Buddhist tradition. His name was Naropa. Naropa was walking down the street one day, holding one of his great texts that he studied, and a woman comes up to him and, recognizing who he is, one of the greatest of all scholars in India, one of the greatest yogis. And she asks him a question. She said, "So I'd like to know, do you understand the words in that sacred book?" And to this he said, "Yes." And so she danced and she sang with glee. She was so happy to hear that. And then she asked him another question. "Do you understand the deeper meaning of the words in this sacred book to the fullest extent?" And so, wanting to please her, he said, "Yes." And she broke into a rage and she called him a liar and a hypocrite. Well, Naropa learned something very powerful that day. He learned that it was okay to admit that he was still learning. He was still learning. And we too are learning. We're still learning, and it's okay to admit that. All of us. And just because I'm the minister doesn't mean I'm not still learning. This is part of the path of being a divine human, divinity in a human body. So the message today is about letting go of those things that we hold on to about how things should be, or even just patterns that are unconscious, patterns of thought and ways of being that don't serve us, and opening our hearts to new ways of being and new ways of thinking. So I have, as usual, I have three. I have three to offer you. And so the first one is, I better get back here. Make sure I'm focused here. The first one is letting go of autopilot. Autopilot. What does that mean to you, to be living on autopilot? Think about it. Yeah, habits. Routine. Doing things without thinking. Yeah, just not living in the present. Yeah, all of those old patterns and opinions and so on that and stories that keep us blind to the beauty and the wonder and the magic of life. And the thing that is really important to be aware of, and I'm sure we're aware of this, is that our culture actually encourages that, and our culture encourages things like fault finding and put downs and shaming. And so it takes a real intention and determination to break those patterns. I really get it. And so what is it that supports us? It's not only intention, it's our spiritual practice. It's taking time to meditate. It's taking time to pray, to vision, that time in the silence to listen deeply for what is going on in our thought patterns so that we can have that distance, that ability to be the observer, and in the moment when we're moving through life, be able to choose and go, oh, I'm not going down that road again. I'm going to do this that's different. So the new way then is being committed to being mindful of our stories, mindful of our habits, and choosing love for ourselves. And of course, when we choose love for ourselves, we're also empowering ourselves to choose love for others. We're creating that inner space to be the loving presence for others. So this includes things like embracing our histories. So no matter what our history has been, our patterns, our things that we wished had been different, our regrets, no matter what those have been, it means embracing that, loving ourselves, having self-compassion so that we can just continue to move forward in love, choosing love. And then the point of all of this is that what everybody ultimately wants is love and belonging. Ernest Holmes writes, love overcomes hate and fear by a subtle power of transformation and transmutation. As light overcomes the darkness, so the radiant action of love and peace dissipates fear, hate, and confusion. I love that. The radiant action of love. The radiant action of love and peace dissipates fear, hate, and confusion. So that's letting go of autopilot, being willing to let go of those patterns of just doing what we always do from that unconscious state. Some people call it sleepwalking through life. So letting go of those patterns and waking up to what's really going on. The second one, letting go of the idea that after enlightenment, I don't have to deal with any human conditions again. That's how I know I'm enlightened, because everything just is working out every day 100% of the time. Well, let me tell you a story. Buddha. Thich Nhat Hanh shared this. Buddha's enlightenment, he said, didn't stop him from being human. He was still a human being with all the suffering and afflictions that come from being in a human body. That means the feelings, the emotions, the reactions, the pain, the cold, the hunger, the fatigue, just like all of us. So we can all go, whew. We can still be enlightened and have those things going on in our lives. And what does enlightened mean? It means being aware, being conscious, and choosing in the midst of whatever's going on with us to use it as a demonstration of our enlightenment, to use it for our own conscious evolution. That's what Buddha did, and that's what he taught, is that those opportunities for growth are in everyday life. And being enlightened means saying, okay, I'm going to do the busting loose process. I'm going to do a spiritual mind treatment. I am going to do a radical forgiveness worksheet. I'm going to do the Byron Katie process. Whatever it is, that's the enlightened way of being. So we're all probably way more enlightened than we realize that we are. So the new way then is embracing our enlightenment as being embracing our humanity and using our mental, emotional, and physical challenges to grow in consciousness. And a really powerful phrase to remember is, this too is for me, when we're challenging something, when we're meeting something that is very challenging. This too is for me. And when we do that with compassion for ourselves, and we have compassion for others, because that's what we're talking about today, a new way of being together, right? Being together with compassion. 3, letting go of trying to change others and the world. Our dear friend Rumi once said, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself, right? So the new way then is taking responsibility for our own conscious evolution. And we talk about this all the time here, don't we? That's the place where the true power is, in changing our own consciousness, noticing our stories, our reactions, and so on, and using that as beautiful opportunities to grow and expand. This is really pretty much the same thing, but looking at it slightly differently. Taking responsibility for our own conscious evolution. Again, through, how do we do that? Spiritual? Huh? There you go. Spiritual mind treatment, mindful awareness. Yes, our daily spiritual practices. And then what are we cultivating? We're cultivating what Barbara Marx Hubbard called the new universal human. That new species. We are here as the new species. We in the Centers for Spiritual Living, we're cultivating this consciousness of the new universal human. It's a consciousness that is rooted in being awake to what's going on in our own minds, being open to being the presence of love. It's about mindfulness, it's about compassion, and it's about embracing our own enlightenment. And think about, what is this? What is this thing called letting go of changing others and instead focusing on our own conscious evolution? It's a revolution. It's a gentle revolution, though. It's a gentle revolution that has a radical impact on our relationships with our families, our friends, with all people in the world. The gentle revolution. I love that. Yeah. Can you feel that? Yeah. Taking responsibility for our own conscious evolution. The gentle revolution. So let's yawn and stretch. Oh. So again, this great opportunity to turn within now and ask yourself, what am I here to let go of? We're talking about letting go of autopilot, letting go of the challenge, thinking that challenges are over when we're enlightened, letting go of trying to change others, and instead stepping into our own responsibilities as growing, expanding, unfolding universal humans. And then I'd like you to turn to, another or a couple of other people and share what your key takeaway was. Rich. So rich. Let's turn within and stand in this power of truth together. This power, this transformational power of spiritual mind treatment. Oh, you can stand let's stand in it. Let's stand in our truth. Thank you, Dean. Let's stand in that truth. And I invite you to take one of the superpower poses, superhero poses, whether it's like this or this or this. And repeat after me. I think rather than a spiritual mind, let's do a spiritual mind treatment together. There is only one life, and that life is God. Say that with me.
There is only one life, and that life is God.
Therefore, that is my life now.
Therefore, that is my life now.
That presence of love is my truth.
The presence of love is my truth.
And I am here for love. To show up as love. To be love. To express love. To accept love. And to radiate daily from my spiritual practice. So I let go of being on autopilot. I let go of thinking enlightenment means everything's perfect every day. In other words, no more challenges. And I let go of trying to change the world and change other people. Instead, I embrace myself with compassion. And I continue to move forward and to reach out to others as love. So it is with